All right, let's begin this half hour with serious news. Terry Horman, stepmother of 7-year-old Kyron Horman and the last family member to see him before his disappearance, has now reportedly hired a prominent defense attorney. Miguel Almaguer is in Portland, Oregon with the latest on this. Miguel, good morning to you.
Matt, good morning. Terry Horman hasn't made any public statements, and while she's under increased scrutiny, a high-profile attorney has confirmed to a local newspaper he is representing the stepmother.
Although he offered no comment, prominent criminal defense attorney Stephen House was seen in a car with Terry Horman and over an hour later captured driving away. The road that leads to the home Terry shared with Kyron, the missing 7-year-old, is both secluded and private, much like the situation the stepmother now finds herself in. Kyron's father, Kane, has filed for divorce and moved his 1-year-old daughter out of their home. This, as detectives are said to have given Terry at least 2 polygraph tests. As Terry is pressured by both family and investigators, People magazine was inside Kyron's home just before his father and stepmother split, an atmosphere of both angst and anger.
She felt there was tension, and when Terry walked into the room and back into the house, the father, he was still continuing the interview, and they really did not speak. And so the reporter could feel that, maybe something, was wrong.
Something was also wrong after the People magazine interview. On Saturday, the day Kane Horman and his daughter moved out, 2 911 calls were made from the Horman home. Although investigators refused to release details, we now know the first call was for a physical threat, and the second, made hours later, was for a custody issue. Terry Horman, who helped raise Kyron, may not be speaking publicly, but criminal profilers say the new family dynamic speaks volumes.
Here we see a husband and wife split apart, a man running out the door with the child. He really believes at this point that his wife is involved with the disappearance of his son.
Detectives have never named Terry Horman as a suspect in this case, but investigators put her picture with Kyron's on a flyer distributed to generate new leads. And now it appears a stepmom, who once stood in between Kyron's biological parents, is now clearly on the outside.
We believe that her father and her mom, they're at home with her, and some friends will come to see her, but she's pretty much isolated. Her husband has left. She doesn't have her daughter, someone she loves very much, and she's right now essentially by herself.
Terry Horman may be alone, but this morning she's in the middle of widespread speculation.
David House has represented an NBA basketball player in the past and also taken on previous clients before. And while he's highly regarded in this area, neither he or Terry Horman are speaking this morning. Matt?
All right, Miguel Almaguer in Portland for us this morning. Miguel, thanks very much. Dan Abrams back now. He's our chief legal analyst. Dan, good morning again. We should say right off the bat, just because someone hires an attorney, a defense attorney, especially considering she's been asked to take polygraphs, she was the last family member to see this young boy before his disappearance, that's not an admission of guilt.
She should have had a lawyer a long time ago. I mean, the fact that she's just getting a lawyer now, to me, is surprising. The fact that she's allegedly taken polygraph tests, the fact that people are talking about her as a possible suspect. Her father has even said he thought there was a 50-50 chance she'd be arrested. Of course she needs a lawyer.
Here's one thing that we have to talk about. A restraining order against her has been granted in this case. You don't go to Kmart to get a restraining order. You go to a judge. So the judge had to have probable cause to issue that.
But it means that there's something else out there that we as the public don't know yet, that the husband knows about, that the court knows about, and that's led this court to say not only does she have to stay away from him, but she can't be near their child as well. And I think that's really important to think about, although it doesn't necessarily mean she'll get arrested in connection with this case. There's something else we don't know.
This young boy, Kyron, has been missing for about a month now, so obviously the stress level within that family has got to be huge, as it would be in any family. So does it strike you when the person from People magazine, who was in that home a couple of days days before the divorce filing says there was obvious tension. Is it possible we read too much into that?
Look, we also know there were 911 calls made from the house on Saturday.
So this was a tense situation between a husband and a wife.
That's right. There's no question there's tension in the household. But again, the restraining order, I think, adds something to that. So it's not just husband angry at wife, husband worried about wife. It's literally something where there's a concern for the physical safety of their child.
Again, the division in this family, the unified front has been broken, and whether it's been broken by the police investigators or something else, the investigators now use that to their advantage, don't they?
No question. And I think that it's likely the investigators are giving the family more or as much information as they're giving back. Because remember, it's the investigators who are going to determine what happened here. The family may have a thought about it, a position on it, a feeling about it, but ultimately the investigators are going to be the one who make the decision, do we move forward with an arrest?
So if in fact she has hired, Terry Horman has hired this prominent defense attorney, Stephen Howes. He's a guy on his website, I think it says he's a champion of unpopular causes. What does he have to do first in this case?
Well, first of all, it cuts both ways when you hire a high-profile lawyer like that. On the one hand, it's someone who knows how to deal with the media attention, et cetera. On the other hand, you get sort of lumped in with other clients that this person has had. Some of them, as you point out, unpopular. Some of them Portland Trailblazers, et cetera. But one of the most important things I think he wants to do is try not to get her vilified in the court of public opinion. So he's going to focus a lot on what information is released, what information isn't released, trying to figure out exactly what the investigators have, because he doesn't want to be blindsided on this, but he also wants to make sure that the community doesn't start galvanizing together against her at this early time.
All right, Dan. Thanks as always. Appreciate it. It's 7:38. Let's get a check of the weather now.